Now, if you pay US taxes, you'll probably be following every twist and turn of President Donald Trump's radical tax overhaul plan. US stock prices have rallied this year on hopes that companies will have to pay less tax under Trump. So if the plan fails to pass through Congress, share prices could fall, and that could be bad for everyone. The Republican Party's plan has already passed through the House of Representatives, and now the Senate is debating it. Trump's proposal would lower the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%, but some Republican senators want the new rate to be 22%. Those senators say the money saved by the slightly smaller corporate tax cut could be used to give bigger tax breaks to families with children. Small businesses may also get a boost. Currently, people who run partnerships can classify their business revenues as personal income and thereby lower their tax bill. These so-called pass-through businesses would be taxed even less under the new plan. But critics say some very large businesses also use similar structures to lower their tax bills. One example of a pass-through business, the Trump Organization. And no one could ever accuse that of being a mom-and-pop shop. So let's go to New York now and talk to Max Wolff. He's the chief economist at Disruptive Technology Advisers. Welcome to the show again, Max. How do you rate the chances of the Senate tax plan to go through?
So I actually think they will get something done. I mean, it's hard to say that because they've more or less failed at everything else, but I think this one they're going to get done because this one is powered in part by special interests who've given large amounts of money to some senior folks here. And you can actually see the handiwork of those groups because partially this part of the tax code here was written to appeal to a limited group of very important folks. And so actually I think in a sort of a departure from recent norm, we're going to see an actual deal get done.
Now, as I mentioned just there, a lot of the stock rally that we've seen this year, not just stocks, but in almost every other asset in the US, has been predicated on this tax plan. If for some reason it fails, how much downside risk is there to stocks?
Yeah, so look, I think if this fails, or if it succeeds, by the way, we're going to see a retrenchment. We are really stretched. An interesting report from Goldman sort of signals that we're at the highest valuations that we've been in about 115 years, which should be a warning. We've seen things go kind of uninterruptedly up since 2009, so we've trebled off our lows. If you lose the S&P 500 as a baseline in the United States. And what's happened is nobody wants to sell because they think these tax deals are coming, so if they don't come, they'll be disappointed. But if they do come, everyone will be able to sell all their overappreciated assets and get the new lower tax rate. So I think whether or not we get a deal, when this thing is finally over, then we're going to see a little bit of a descent back to earth by a whole lot of people who've been holding all kinds of stretched assets just to be able to sell them off at a lower tax rate.
Max, there's plenty of controversial elements in this whole plan. Which, in your opinion, would be the most damaging to the US economy in the long run?
Yeah, so I think when you see two particular provisions in there, one is we're going to tax people getting advanced degrees a lot more by making them pay taxes. That's the proposal on the stipends they get working hard and not making much money in grad school. This is an absolute disinvestment in one of America's top exports, our degrees, and our ability to be globally competitive. It's the worst idea imaginable, except for maybe a few others in this bill. So it's a terrible idea. It would be very damaging to the U.S. I also think we're going to see real damage done by this notion that the state and local taxes you don't get credit for. And the reason that's bad is basically you're getting a Republican Party that says, hey, we're not that successful in the high tax states, New York, California, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New Jersey, so let's jam them up with a huge tax bill. Part of the problem is that a lot more than 10%, 20, 30, 40% of the United States lives in those states, and a lot more than those states' political weight is their economic weight. So, this is a really terrible idea. There are several terrible ideas in here. If this passes as it presently exists, it will be damaging.
All right, Max Wolff, Disruptive Technology Advisers in New York. Thank you ever so much.